Now call to order the City Council meeting of October 9th, 2023. The time is 7:02 p.m. Opening prayer. Daryl.
Please rise for prayer. Our hands. Almighty Creator, tonight we give simple thanks for autumn. The cool windy days, the blue clouded skies, the rich colors that robe our streets, the bounty of the harvest, which we will soon celebrate with our families. We are grateful. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ben, would you please call the roll?
Member Matheny? Here. Member Wire?
Here.
Member McLeister?
Here.
Member Warren?
Here.
Member Shroya?
Here.
Member Volt?
Here.
Member Orr?
Here.
7 present.
Okay, for your consideration, I have a motion and a second to approve as presented minutes from the September 11th committee and council, September 18th committee, September 25th public hearings and council, September 2023 finance report, and the codification updates to chapters 155 and 703.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, some quick housekeeping. So we do have one of the potential owls, and we have a lot of people. So council and administration, if we could speak up so everybody can hear back and forth. And also when you're at the podium, if you could speak a little bit louder than that. So tonight is open topic, public speaks. At this time, members of the public wishing to address council may do so. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes. Comments may be on any topic under the city authorities, which are not limited to the agenda tonight. This does not include qualifications for elected officials or any candidates. The rules for speaking and the time will be on both screens. This will serve as the only warning for everyone in attendance. Any violation of the rules will result in ejection from the premises. Anyone wishing to address council may approach the podium. And start with your name and address, please.
Hello, Ken McAdams, 1101 Woodrow Street, Martin. A couple of things I just wanted to say is I really appreciate what you guys have done as far as what the sidewalks are starting to look like on Woodrow Street. They look absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see it being finished. North Main, all the activities downtown. So good to polish it off. My only concern, I'll keep it quick. Last week I had normally I'll listen to it on YouTube, trying to follow through with the presentation that Mr. Dorio made. I kind of had a hard time hearing him and would like to have some clarification on the Woodrow Lois Water Project anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address council tonight?
With the pool liner laying emission from the ground.
Susan Meadows, 232 6th Street, Northeast, North Canton. Give you these. These are pictures of the
Why
pool.
don't you submit them to the president of council?
Oh, great.
Thank you.
You can pass them around if you wish.
Thank you.
Those are pictures of the pool. There was a comment made here that pool doesn't get much use. Those pictures were taken towards the end of the year when the weather was cool. So you can see that. And there was a statement made here They're on your head. Oh, are they? Not, my head is intact. That 50 years ago in 1971 was a lot different here. And 50 years later, people have pools in their backyard, and a lot of kids don't use it anymore. So by the pictures, you can tell that that statement is not true. The statement that everybody has a pool in their backyard, I don't. My neighbors don't. I've looked a couple times to see if I have one, but I don't. So, that, and then, I went to the city and, was kindly given information that I requested. And one of the forms, the last form on it is signed by David Hill and Timothy Fox. I don't know how that got in here, but anyway. And, I asked, what year did the YMCA start to operate Dogwood Pool? And this request is denied. The answer to that is 1971. What is the daily allowed capacity in Dogwood Pool? This request is denied. And it says, requests for information are considered improper requests under OR 14143 Public Records Act. So each one of these questions was under that. Losing, this request is denied. And I have figured that out to be I have so many people written here. Anyway, what is the amount the revenue the city is losing? Copy of the YMCA pool management. The percentage city pays the YMCA to manage the pool. This request is denied. These team memberships should be included with my I just got them today, so I haven't really had a chance to go over all the information I've given. They only retain records for 10 years, so from 2014 to 2013, 2022. Premises, financial revenue, operating expenses, make other records of information. I was sort of given information for that, but I haven't been able to go through it. What was the amount the city received to make the pool building ADA accessible? And the city is not aware of receiving any grants for the purpose of making the pool house ADA accessible. Therefore, your request is denied. And that's what we have been told for 2 years, that the pool house was going to be torn down to make it ADA accessible. So I don't know that. Membership pass was purchased in 2010 and 22, and I did get an answer on that. So far, we need, and the picture that I'm passing around is the pool liner laying on the ground over there right now in a heap. The pool is painted white on the inside, so it's not in the pool. So, it must not be that important if it's just laying there out in heat. Dogwood for an individual is $88 and $212, but if you join, $570.
Your time is ended. It's 5 minutes, thank you.
May I speak?
Thank you.
I'm Connie Horvath, 7784 Bridgeton Drive, Northwest, Canton. I live in Bayberry Woods, it's a condominium association. We live in a cul-de-sac off of Orion. worry on. I have noticed over the years that we are a private concern. We pay taxes, we vote on issues. We may pass the issues, we may not. People we vote for, but my vote is always included. But because we are a private concern, we get not anything from the city besides police and paramedics. But they don't move the snow. They don't do street repair. What my main question is, and there are a few other things, that we do pay taxes like everybody else, but none of the city does. My question is there any way we can get a reimbursement on taxes? Even a 5%, 10% would be lovely. I'm on a fixed income, as is a lot of people in that community. They bury woods. And love North Canton. Happen to live in a beautiful community as I do, especially North Canton. But if there is any possibility, you can give me a break and my people that live in Bayberry on our taxes, I would certainly appreciate that. Is anybody able to tell me that that might be doable? Do I have to file papers?
That is not
Mr.
doable.
DiOrio?
When your condominium association was built, as all the other condominium associations in North Canton and probably elsewhere, they were built to a developer standard. The developer has an opportunity to build the roads that service your development to the city standard. Had they done so, they could have turned them over to the city after they were built, and the city could have maintained them. But the developer chose to build them with lesser grade materials, narrower in scope, and not with all the associated drainage that the city would normally put in. So as far as we're concerned, it's a private road. And the city is not interested in taking the private road over and then having to invest, hundreds of thousands of dollars to correct what the developer decided to do on the cheap.
How about trash pickup or recycling? We have none of that as well.
I know you're in a condominium association where you're bound by their rules and they provide that particular service, if you will.
Because it's written in stone, there's no way
and it's your plight or depending on how you look at it, is the same everywhere else. In Fredericksburg, we have condominiums. On Lois Lane, we have condominiums. It's just all the same. In North Canton is largely built out, but one of the ordinances that I was looking to put forward next year was that as it relates to future development and future condominium associations, that they be required, that the developer be required to build the roads to city standards.
So what you're saying is no, we'll get no help on my
Can't do,
taxes.
and I'd say
Now
that,
or in the future.
as far as the taxes that we pay,
Guys, let's not do the back and forth. This is an
No.
open topic where we're not having
Right,
a question and
I'm just
answer,
trying to
so
understand the
just,
Gentlemen.
no, go ahead
Sorry.
and,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. Just say what you have to say and then, and we can address it afterwards. Yeah.
Okay. You're finished?
I'm told that I am.
Sorry.
Okay, I guess I am too. You answered my question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please refer to the slide that I previously provided. My name is Bill Old, and we live at 1330-5 near the intersection of Apple. A half-acre lot, this is on slide 2. A half-acre lot is divided by a 12-foot wide easement for the Chatham Hills ditch. A 24-foot bridge provides access to property on the west side of the ditch. The house on the east side is at a slightly higher elevation. Slide 3 shows the Chatham Hills ditch also passes behind 4 other homes on Hyacinth Drive between Apple Road and Hall Road. All 5 homes are within the city limits and have approximately the same finished floor. Rain from Chapel Hill Drive also drains into this section of the Chatham Hills ditch. Slide 4 shows a box culvert that was installed under Apple Road to replace a smaller culvert during the 2008 Phase 1 widening project. 2 additional circular culverts were installed for pavement runoff, and another box culvert was installed downstream at Hall Road. Contributes to higher water levels in our backyard by restricting the flow from the 3 Apple Grove culverts and the runoff from Chapel Hill Drive. Slide 5 shows water flowing around our bridge and over our bridge on June 4th, 2020. The property on the west side of the ditch is completely flooded. Slide 6 shows that the Apple Grove box culvert was near its capacity and the 2 circular culverts were fully submerged during the rain. Slide 7 shows extensive flooding looking west from our back door on May 14, 2022. This water level is inside the fence and near the finished floor elevation of 1,128 feet, as recorded on the Phase 1 Apple Grove survey. Slide 8 shows the May 14, 2022 flooding as due from the west side. The house on Apple Grove is flooded and the water is near the elevation of the Apple Grove roadway. Slide 9 shows the FEMA flood zone 8 boundaries being between Apple Grove Street and Hall Road. The May 14, 22 flooding exceeded these boundaries and our home was nearly flooded. Slide 10 shows the Chapel Hill Ditch watershed north of Apple Grove Street, east of North Main Street. I believe the clearing of approximately 20 acres of land vegetation for commercial development on the west side of North Main Street and drainage from the retention pond constructed north of Stratton Drive will increase the flow into the Chatham Hills ditch. Slide 11 shows what I believe is excavation to connect the drainage from the commercial development to the storm drain running under North Main Street that discharges into the Chatham Hills ditch behind AutoZone. Slide 12 shows the Stratton Drive retention pond. During the 2008 Apple Grove Lighting project, I expressed written concerns to Stark County Engineering Department that the additional pavement runoff could cause our home to flood. On August 14th, August 20th, and August 23 this year, I sent letters to Robert Graham, North Canton engineer, providing details contained in several of the previous letters. And I also expressed concern about additional water flow from the commercial development on North Main. David Matheny, Ward 2 council member, and Keith Bennett, Stark County engineer, were copied on these letters. In conclusion, to avoid flooding the 5 homes on Heisman Drive, I request collaboration between this administration and Stark County to reduce the Chatham Hills ditch flow restrictions from Hall Road to where it discharges into the west branch of the Nipissing Creek, so that the water flow encountered on May 14, 2022, and additional water from the North Main commercial development will not exceed the FEMA flood zone 8 boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cindy Rizzoletti, 146 Street. First thing I'd like to support what Sue was alluding to or talking about with the dogwood pool. I think it's a very important city asset, and I would hate to see North Canton decide to not have it. I know a lot of women came here to support Sue with that. My kids all swam there, and I just think that there ought to be some way that the community can figure out how to go forward and make it a profitable, or at least economically feasible asset. We try to show how wonderful North Canton is, and I've loved living here. I think we just need to continue to support that. My other thing is I live in a small neighborhood, and I have seen, looked up and found that the Community Improvement Corporation has bought 3 out of the 4 homes between 6th and 7th on the east side of Maine. I'm assuming in case the school bond issue passes, or I was heard through the grapevine, a turn lane. My concern is that my small neighborhood is right behind that. There is an alley right behind those homes or businesses, and I would like to know what the city plans to do with the rest of that property that those buildings are on, and the alley behind so that we don't have Main Street sitting in our neighborhood. We are a nice neighborhood, we have block parties, we get together, and I hate to see our small neighborhood ruined because Main Street traffic is practically at our front door. So I'd like to hear what the city plans to do if that does become a school, and then the middle school does go there, and if the turn lane is made, I'd like whoever plans these things to keep in mind that we would like to keep our neighborhood intact and we don't want traffic right at our front door. So hopefully that's kept in mind. Other than that, thank you.
Thank you.
Evening, friends and neighbors. My name is Judge Kurt Warren, the judge of the Canton Municipal Court, which, if you're unaware, is 16 jurisdictions. I think this is 15 or 16th on my tour of those jurisdictions. I've been taking this year to go see all the townships, municipalities, villages in our total jurisdiction. Just to say hello, I am a resident of North Canton, but tonight I'm here as judge of the Canton Municipal Court. Like to see how we're doing, like to put a face to what's going on. I know in a lot of the townships I've been to, they're just glad to see that we're there, and we're, usually things are pretty quiet, which means things are going pretty well, and it's nice to see you all. Generally, we talk about fire and safety when I'm out visiting, and I always tell my councilperson how grateful I am for the North Canton PD. I think they do a terrific job. They're the ones I see on a regular basis, and also on your investment in criminal justice, your lights and security cameras. I don't think there's a traffic accident that goes unquestioned here because it's caught on camera. You have everything you need. I know fighting crime's always going to be a daily struggle, but you got a great team, so you can be proud of that. But I'm just here. I'll see you afterwards if you have any questions about how we're doing. Thank you all.
Kurt, can you
Thank you.
give your name and address for your address for the record, please?
1593 Alexandria Parkway.
Thank you.
121 Cleveland Avenue South.
Anyone else wishing to address council?
Aaron Meisner, 202 Lawyer Avenue Northwest, Canton. Couple quick things. I own a couple of properties in North Canton, the rental properties, and I found out that inspectors who come to inspect the properties wear cameras, and they do not tell anyone that they are inspecting the household that they're going into. I have no idea about it. I have, kids in these homes are running around, personal items that might they want to put away that are personal use. And I had to go to my tenants and tell them that they were being filmed after the fact. Because the inspectors had not the decency to let us know that, hey, by the way, we're wearing cameras before they go in. I mean, how hard is that? Why is that hidden?
This is not a reaction. This is public speaks. That's it. Let's not add drama to anything
So
that's
why
been
is
going
that
on here.
I don't understand that. I hear that, yes, the inspectors are background checked and BCI. Okay, great. But, I mean, this is a personal residence. And I feel, at least moving forward, that you should let the people who own the properties, before they let them in, say, hey, this is going to be filmed. So you might want to let your tenants know that, hey, maybe you want to have your kids there, pictures, personal bill, whatever the case is. I mean, I think that should be for sure. So that's kind of my main tell. I already talked to Jamie already, but she's going to be taking care of another issue of violation notices are being sent out prior to owners of prior owners, which is ridiculous as well, for building permits and stuff like that. I buy a property 3 months ago. I bought a property 2 months ago.
and I get a violation notice in the mail it was basically 5 months old, saying, oh, you're in violation. I'm like, I didn't own the property then. Well, the inspector was so backlogged in work, I don't know, didn't do his job, that all of a sudden I get the violation notice, and I'm in violation of work that was being done to probably 5 months ago, before I owned it. And I have to pay these fines and fees, and now I have to pay $150 to go to appeal this to get it taken off my record. And then we have the building department personally, Mike Porter personally calling Remax saying that Aaron Meiser should not be selling this property because it has violation notices. He's getting personally involved. That's overstepping, I think. So I talked to Safe Bill, who runs the department, and I'm talking to Glenn Lindsay here, the regional director, tomorrow. But I think some steps need to be taken care of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Melanie J. Roll, 308 40th Street Northwest, North Canton, Ohio. It was my intent to speak September 25 at the third reading of ordinance 70/2023 to expand the registration requirement to all rental units in the city. As you all know, it was the goal of the city to require all rental units to be registered when the program was first discussed. And it was the goal of the Citizen Committee as well. Starting with 8 or fewer units to understand how best to implement the rental registration program was an excellent choice. And having Safe built with Mr. Van Gundy's expertise allowed the process to be implemented. Also, Mr. Young played a vital role in the registration process. Now let's get all the units inspected and registered. The Citizen Committee was also concerned of the ratio of rental units versus owner-occupied dwellings in the city. In 2005, when I canvassed to reverse zoning legislation that allowed single-family dwellings to be divided into multi-units in what is known as the city core, Harmon, north to Charlotte, Ream, west to Williman, Dottie McGrew, who covered the North Canton government for a very long time, reported in the Akron Beacon Journal, and I quote, about 25% of the city's housing stock is rental. Mr. Revolt reported in a recent council meeting a much larger percentage. Some suggestions: place a moratorium on any additional multi-unit rental units. Also, place a moratorium on additional long-term care facilities in the city, a topic for another time. Another component of the housing stock is owner-occupied dwelling. How best for the city to address exterior deteriorating conditions? This is a problem in all 4 wards. The addition of personnel for nuisance inspection will allow more surveillance of the city's neighborhood. I believe that request is in the upcoming budget. Don't know for sure. I strongly suggest if it is, council give its approval. While I understand adding to the income tax base is important for the city to thrive, please do not overlook the city's housing stock. I have long championed for the city to promote thriving neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address council tonight? Final call. Moving on to old business. Ben, would you please read the title of ordinance 61-2023?
An ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of North Canton to reclassify 1434 Pittsburgh Avenue Northwest, Stark County parcel number 9208870 in the city of North Canton in accordance with the amendment procedure set forth in chapter 1182 of the Planning and Zoning Code from residential single-family small lot R50 to residential multifamily A RMFA.
Okay, community and economic development, Daryl.
Mr. Story, this is the second of 3 readings, making a rezone request up on the corner of Pittsburgh and Liberty. You have a map. This rezone request is being done at the request of the property owner. This was a catch-up from the outgrowth of some cleanup that we did earlier. And we are attempting to be responsive to the property owner. Are there any questions? Seeing none, then I'll move the adoption of the second reading of ordinance 61-20.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben, would you please read the title of ordinance 71-2023?
An ordinance declaring the improvement of certain real property located in the city of North Canton, Stark County, Ohio, to be a public purpose, declaring such property to be exempt from real property taxation, designating specific public infrastructure improvements that, once made, will directly benefit the parcels for which improvement is declared to be a public purpose, requiring annual service payments in lieu of taxes, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund, and providing related authorizations pursuant to Ohio Revised Code sections 5709.40B, 5709.42, 5709.43, 5709.832, and 5709.85.
Daryl.
Okay, this is, again, is the second of 3 readings establishing a TIF in an area on North Main Street within the Main Street Gateway. Record again should reflect that this TIF is for the non-school portion of those property taxes. And the duration of the period will be 30 years.
Point of order before we vote. I believe Member Wyrick needs to abstain.
So rules. You're going to short the library. Maybe she's terribly upset. Okay, are there any questions or comments? Again, we'll bring this back for a third and final reading in a couple weeks. And again, I think the language is pretty specific. This is for infrastructure improvements in the area.
I'll make a motion.
Revolt will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
John?
Motion carries.
She's regained her control. You can bring her back.
Ben, would you please read the title of ordinance 81-2023?
An ordinance amending Chapter 959 Rental Rates and Policies of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton to clarify regulations and repeal outdated policy. No, you're okay, Matt. We already passed the rental
Oh,
registration.
that's right. Sorry. Confused the two.
You can go back now.
You want me to go? Yeah? Okay. So this is essentially just pulling some things out of law that should have never been law. We've talked about it several times. Anyone have any questions? All right, I move that we adopt the second reading of ordinance 81-2023.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben, would you please read the title of ordinance 83-2023?
An ordinance adjusting rates and fees for building and zoning permits and associated plan reviews in the city of North Canton.
We have a proposal to revisit rates. Those fees had not been adjusted, I think, since 2011. Is that correct, Clerk?
Well, there have been minor
There've been
one-off
minor tweaks.
adjustments.
This is and this was accompanied, again, I think the record should reflect, this was, the ordinance before us this evening is the result of a comprehensive review and activities with administrative staff. So I don't have anything to add unless the administration does. Again, this is only the second reading. We'll have a third reading in 2 weeks. Seeing none, then I'll make a motion we adopt the second reading of ordinance 83-23.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben, would you please read the title of ordinance 85?
An ordinance establishing chapter 711 yard care providers of the codified ordinances of the city of North Canton in order to regulate the provision of landscaping services.
Mr. President,
Ordinance.
I would ask if that the council consider tabling ordinance 85-2023 to allow for additional consideration by the administration.
Okay. It's open for discussion, and if there's no further discussion.
I'll make the motion that we table this.
Yeah.
Second?
Revolt seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, motion's tabled. Okay, moving on to new business. Ben, would you please read the title of ordinance 86-2023?
An ordinance authorizing appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures and related one-time permanent transfers of monies made to various funds for the period beginning January 1, 2024 and ending December 31, 2024.
Okay, finance and property, Stephanie.
Okay, last week we had a great initial discussion regarding the budget, and Patrick did a great job kind of explaining it on a higher level. And as we said, it was a fluid document, so things can happen within a week. Any thoughts or comments this week? Patrick or Trina? Are things holding?
No new information so far.
Okay. And again, the public can always reach out to us during those discussions, during the budget time, and we can answer those questions during these meetings too. So as we said, it continues to be a fluid document. If there are no other questions or concerns from council, I will move to adopt that to the second.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Ben, would you please read the title of resolution 87-2023?
A resolution to acknowledge the rates and fees utilized to establish the budget for the 2024 fiscal year.
Okay, we talked again about this and how long it had been since a lot of fees and structure hadn't been kind of looked at. And so those fees are all here looking at the budget and weighing in, and it's everything from park fees, with or without lights, to plan reviews, to plumbing permits, to ambulance services. So there are, I think, 4 pages of fees, so it becomes an integral part of the budget. Are there any questions or concerns?
That's a lot of work, so thank you, administration, again.
Yeah.
That is a very heavy lift there.
And we had a lot of different conversations about that and how they apply and when they apply to people and businesses versus individuals, and a lot of work. All right, if there are no other questions or concerns, I move to adopt the first reading.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben, would you please read the title of ordinance 88-2023?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of North Canton to enter into a contract for professional auction services for the sale of vehicles and equipment that are obsolete or unfit for public use, or are not needed for municipal purposes, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Okay, so the third one on my agenda, this is standard practice and what we do to get rid of old equipment, like they said. And it's everything from police cars to parked vehicles to an asphalt hot box to an equivalent fan, or van, copiers. So just an assortment of things that we get rid of and make a little money from. Any questions or concerns?
Let's say in the asphalt hot box.
Put you in it. It's old.
Gonna sell it to his wife.
Right. So if there are no other questions or concerns, I will move that to second reading as well.
1 seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
So moved.
2nd.
1 seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 88-2023 under suspension of rules?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to department reports. Let's start with Patrick.
No reports.
Gina.
I just wanted to review that or make a note that you did receive the quarterly reports for finance, so you will have the check report for the third quarter, as well as the monthly and quarter reports through September 30th. So if you had any questions or wanted to review any of those, just let me know.
Thank you. Mayor.
Yes, thank you. I want to thank the audience for participating tonight, sharing your thoughts and concerns that we will be looking into for you. Again, our community and outside of our community supported the Oktoberfest that was recently held this last weekend. I would say throughout the day, maybe 4,000 people had attended that. I want to thank our administration and the chamber and all the partners who supported the Oktoberfest. It was again, it was well received and people enjoyed coming out. Got a little chilly, but it was well done. And I want to thank our team and again, the chamber and other community partners who put that on. On Wednesday, I'll have the opportunity to be attending the annual Fire Prevention Week breakfast that is going to be held at First Christian Church. And I'm going to have the honor to award a proclamation to a young lady who's a third grader here in our North Canton Intermediate School. And her name is Layla, Layla Gillespie. She's a third grader, and she's the overall winner for the Stark County Fire Prevention third grade coloring contest. And she competed with everybody in the state, in Stark County. So she's the overall winner, and we'll be presenting her proclamation and recognition there. And also, I have a proclamation dedicating that this week on behalf of the city administration, North Canton Fire Department. I want to thank the educators of North Canton and across Stark County for their support in teaching students on how to prevent fires and how to respond properly in a fire situation, which are skills students will remember and practice throughout their lives. And that's a little bit of a summary, but I think our schools do a great job in trying to educate our young people about fire and personal safety. So we'll be making that proclamation this coming Wednesday. And that's all I have for now. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Did you try to blow the apple horn before when you were making the...
For the audience, there is an Alpenhorn that they use in Germany and Switzerland. And yes, I did have the opportunity to test it. I signed it that I participated in it. And we had about 9 young people under, I'd say 16 or participate. Then we had the adult division. And we tested for length of time and decibels. And someone was able to blow into it for over 20 seconds. And a young lady here locally got that award. I think we got a t-shirt and a special utensil to drink an alcoholic beverage out of. An adult beverage, I think, or it could be anything. But it was actually well received. So thank you very much. And that might become a tradition for our Oktoberfest. But otherwise, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
That's a long answer for that, isn't it?
It was, it was a very unique thing that happened. So
it was unique.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Council Clerk, Ben?
No report.
Okay. Moving on to council reports, Jamie, Ward 1.
Yeah, I was just gonna give a big shout out to the North Canton Area Chamber of Commerce, because I too, actually, I think several of us were at the event this weekend. It was an absolutely fantastic event. And Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, the woman who won, was she the one who beat out her husband, I believe, right?
Yes, it was
Okay,
a husband
so
and wife
it was a husband and wife duel down to the very end. So, but that was pretty impressive, and I was pretty excited. I think I'm going to try the Alpenhorn contest next year. So, also wanted to send a shout out to our, or just acknowledge our firefighters with the North Canton Fire Department. This is Fire Safety Week, and I happened to bump into the mayor over at the fire department open house, which sadly, unless you guys leave immediately right now, you're probably going to miss because it is over at 8 o'clock. But they did a fantastic job this evening, and there are a lot of members of the community there enjoying it. So. And that's all I have to share.
President Stroya?
Yes.
Just to follow up on that. Sure. The theme this year, so you know, is cooking safety starts with you. And the theme was for when you're cooking at home, how to take precautions and be careful. So thank you very much. That's it.
Daryl just said that's why he doesn't cook. Ward 2, David.
Okay, so as chairperson of Personnel and Safety, Catherine Farina was nice enough to send me an email on some additions to staffing. And as we all know, that the quality of the services that we get is based on the quality of the individuals that we hire. And in today's environment, finding good people is always a challenge. So shout out to Catherine for doing that part and finding the good people. Also a shout out to Ted Shepler. He was being recognized tonight at the open house for his 36 years of service to the North Canton Fire Department. He actually began as a volunteer firefighter in 1987. So thank you for your service. We do have some new part-time hires for the fire department. Kalia Clark. We also have Kationa Johnson, Bryce Schilling, Connor Pearsall, and Andrew Mallette, all starting part-time positions in the North Canton Fire Department. Also in the fire department starting next week will be Jonathan Russell and Joshua Bliss. And then new full-time police department officers, we have Kyle Burns, and then starting the end of the month, Justin Lowe. So a lot of new people coming on board, a lot of new faces in town, building that base that we need, employees taking care of the residents. So that's what I have.
Thank you, David. Ward 3, Stephanie.
Just a thank you to the finance department for all you're doing for the budget and working with the administration. I know there's kind of like a heavy sigh each week because you're like, okay, that's one reading, now we're at 2. Are there any changes? Has anything happened in that process until we finish that? So thank you. I know so much work went into that. And thank you for coming out tonight for our open meeting and asking questions and concerns. And please stay around. We'll all be hanging out and we can try to answer some of your questions. There isn't an open, I guess, back and forth dialogue during. That's kind of for you to say your question and ask, and then you can wait and maybe we'll have some answers. Or if we don't have them, then we will try to find them out for you. But we appreciate you being here.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. Ward 4, John.
Again, I want to thank all of you for coming in and speaking, and those who are listening and stuff. We invite you every Monday to be here, so please come back. As I'm out campaigning, knocking on doors in Ward 4, educating the people, the voters, on what we do and stuff. Pat, they're so happy about, down in Surrey Hill, about those two buildings that we got rid of on Westfield. And they're very happy with the roads down there and stuff, though. They think it should be topped. I go, your roads are probably some of the best in the city down there. They are, we're getting a lot of responses to the fire emergency and stuff. I think we're gonna get a good vote from down there as we're talking to the people. Still a lot of problems with deer and skunk down in that area, and I told them there's as many people who like them, you know, and feed them and stuff. So they're content, they're really happy down there on that.
The people or the deer and skunk?
I think both. The people are very happy and it's a really friendly area down there. But, over on, Salway, they are really grateful for the cleanup that we did on Salway. Thank you so much for that. Up closer to where I live on Harmon, they had some tougher questions. They're worried about the middle school and, you gotta tell them what we cover and what, they cover. They would like another park. Well, it could be, you never know. They're concerned about parking. Parking is a problem up there. We're gonna address that probably after the election. But other than that, hats off to the city, doing a good job.
Thank you for the feedback. Thank you, John. Daryl?
I want to give some praise to the administrator tonight, but also want to thank those who are here tonight. I always welcome an opportunity to explain sometimes that what we do here often has a very good reason for doing it. Most of the things we do are reviewed by lawyers. Imagine that in this world. This last week, close to my home, we had a large oak tree removed. It had been determined to be a hazard. It was nearly dead. It was rotted through. But it was important to understand that the property owner was non-responsive and not cooperative, almost to the point of being belligerent. He hassled the surveyors who were out to establish the ownership of the tree, would not communicate with the building inspector, who came down to make some arrangements to have the tree removed. And at the end of the day, not only we blocked the street off, we had to have 2 uniformed officers present to ensure that the homeowner did not interfere with the contract. Now, throughout this entire process, there was one constant, and that is the inspector had a body camera. And he had it on for a reason. When we're out inspecting properties, when we're inspecting businesses like Mr. Meisner has, it's important to establish a record so our officials are not accused of misconduct. It's just that simple. I can't imagine that my neighbor, had those cameras not been present, would not have accused somebody of misconduct. Think about this a second. Where this could have gone had not the administration handled this with great planning and execution. As a matter of fact, they even deferred having the tree removed today to make sure that the process, if they encountered a problem, how they would follow up legally. But again, the constant is here, the important thing is to document that interaction to ensure that our staff, our people are protected from an unfounded allegation. So, I regret that people believe their privacy may be violated, but the reality is it's to protect all of us. Mr. Meisner and I may disagree on this, but the reality is that's the world we live in today. So,
Are we allowed to talk?
no,
Okay. I've never been to one of these before, so sorry.
you're out of order. So I just think it's important to understand that everybody's here, that we often hear that there's this heavy hand of government. The reality is it's to protect all of us. The follow-on is this, if there is some activity that is improper and the city is found guilty, it's important to understand that you all have immense financial liability in that matter. That if something goes sideways and the federal court determines that your friends at City Hall have abused their authority or mishandled it, there may be millions and millions of dollars that are on the table. It's going to come out of somebody's pocket. So the stuff we do for a reason. And I think it's important to understand that's why we do. I'm done.
All right, thank you, Daryl. Christina?
I'd just like to say thank you to all of you for coming. It's great to walk in here and have a full room of people and to hear from all of you. I appreciate everyone advocating for the pool. I certainly see the value of the pool as well. So appreciate you being here sharing that. And that's all.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'd like to echo the same sentiments. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you for being respectful also. The New Balloon Festival was fantastic. I think it was well above the expected participation. I think they ran out of beer at 2:00 and ran out of food shortly after. And it wasn't the greatest day. I mean, the weather wasn't the greatest, but it was fun to see a lot of families, a lot of kids. Really fun. Find support local. We'll be around. So any questions, like if you want to talk afterwards, we'll be here. If any of you have questions about anything else, feel free to approach us. Final call for new business. Meeting calendar coming up. Okay, so October 16th, we have a committee of the whole meeting. October 17th, we're going to have a joint meeting with Jackson Township. October 23rd, regular city council meeting, and October 30th, we'll have a city council meeting in addition as well.
We need to vote on that.
What's that?
We need to vote on October 30th.
Revolt moves a meeting for October 30th. Regular city council.
Destroy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Revolt moves.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?